It's Friday. Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. We're 3 games into the NFL preseason, and I already know the Flacco-nessence is coming perna. Flacco-nessence. Will and I mentioned what Broncos things we'll be watching this weekend on the podcast yesterday. Today, I want to poke my head around the league and mention some of the players and situations I'm curious about heading into preseason. After not having a preseason last year, I refuse to take meaningless football for granted ever again. Now, I can't cover every player, so these are my preseason cliff notes. That's good, sports. Yeah, subscribe. Football season's going to be crazy. Today's episode is sponsored by HelloFresh and their Taste of Summer series. So go to HelloFresh.com and use my code That'sGoodSports14 to get 14 free meals plus free shipping. Right now, HelloFresh has an amazing selection of chef-curated barbecue bundles so you can keep the grill going all summer. My life with football starting has me juggling too many things to worry about finding dinner at the store. I just don't have the time, so I rely on HelloFresh like a quarterback relies on his center to deliver the goods. A bad snap could lead to a safety, and I take safety seriously with my chic onion glasses. I now have dietary restrictions because my body hates me, but with HelloFresh, they provide low-cal, carb-smart, vegetarian, and pescatarian options. And with HelloFresh, food is delivered right to my door, packaged in recyclable and or already recycled material. I get to choose between 50 menu items each week with easy-to-follow 5-star recipes that take about 30 minutes to prepare. Again, HelloFresh.com. Use my code That'sGoodSports14 to get 14 free meals plus free shipping. Chic onion glasses not included. Eagles fans, you may have finally found an offensive weapon not named Zach Ertz. I am, of course, talking about new Eagle Joe Flacco, king of 79-yard passes. I'm also talking about the guy who scored the touchdown there, 6th round draft pick, Quez Watkins. The first of 2 Watkins on this list. And if Quez can do this against the ones for Jalen Hurts, that could be a huge boost to one of the most painful offenses to watch last season. All Hurts needs to learn is how to look off an entire defense like Joe Flacco did on that play. Now, Jalen Hurts was decent in limited action. Obviously, that's who Eagles fans will be booing closely this offseason. What I will say is seeing Nick Mullins throw 2 picks on 5 attempts should have Doug Peterson's attention for when he needs to tank again in the future for whatever team he's coaching. Now, Gardner Minshew. Urban Meyer hasn't decided on a week 1 starter yet. He insists it's an open competition between Minshew and Lawrence. Also, is Urban Meyer getting younger? Damn, he's actually pulling off that goatee. I'm truly pumped, though, to see my guy Gardner Minshew outplay the number 1 overall pick in the draft. It's going to happen, and it's not going to be close. The only thing wrong with Gardner Minshew is that teams like the Colts feel like they're better off with Carson Wentz. The Panthers believe they're better off with Sam Darnold. My own team picked Teddy Bridgewater over Minshew. I think he's going to remind everyone that he's always been a good player stuck on a bad team, and he's going to play his way into a starting job somewhere in 2021. Congrats to me for not saying Tim Tebow while referencing the Jags. Then we've got Justin Fields. I'll admit, this one could be pretty tough to watch. If Justin Fields looks like a phenom, and he's been looking good, it's going to hurt me very, very much. The Broncos and the Panthers, let's not forget about them, passed on Justin Fields in the draft. If Justin Fields plays well in the preseason, the Broncos are going to get ridiculed so fucking hard. Just like they got ridiculed for passing on Josh Allen. Just like they got ridiculed for not taking Justin Herbert, even though he was gone when Denver picked. Just like they got ridiculed for drafting Paxton Lynch instead of Dak Prescott. Just like they got ridiculed for taking Brock Osweiler instead of Russell Wilson. There's a long list of post-Manning QB whiffs, and those whiffs smell really, really bad. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. Fields is still behind Andy Dalton on the depth chart and is going to have to play nearly perfect to get the starting job. Since we're talking about the Broncos, I'm looking forward to PS2, aka Patrick Surtain. If Justin Fields plays well, the only thing that can even partially console me is Patrick Surtain playing even better. And that's what everyone is expecting. I'm looking forward to seeing how the Broncos utilize Surtain given their depth at the corner position. Sounds like head coach Vic Fangio has been using him as a sub-package linebacker, taking advantage of Surtain's unique size and speed. If he somehow scores, 30 defensive touchdowns, which is the number of TDs I need Drew Lock to throw, then yeah, taking a corner over a quarterback will look like a genius move. Here's a big one, Jordan Love. Now, he may be the most talked about quarterback who's never thrown a pass in the NFL. Again, we didn't have a preseason last year, so it's like Love is a rookie. With Aaron Rodgers likely to exit Green Bay after this season, this is going to be a glimpse into the future for the Packers. It's not like we need to hit the panic button if he doesn't play well, considering it's his first live action. But if he really sucks, like really stinks, the Packers are going to look so much worse than they already do. I'm not rooting for Love to fail. I'm rooting for the opposite. I want him to be great. I want him to succeed so the Packers feel confident letting Rodgers come to my team next year. But these 3 games are going to tell us a little bit about how the Packers are going to approach this offseason. Then we've got Trey Lance in San Francisco. Trey Lance is Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson all rolled into one fat blunt that NFL fans are about to get too high on. At least that's how the San Francisco media has been talking about him. Maybe it's because they had to watch CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, and Josh Rosen last year. The 49ers traded a king's ransom to move up to number 3 to take Trey Lance. And if he is as good as advertised, the first rounders they gave up will be obviously worth it. Also, if he plays as well as people are expecting, it immediately puts Jimmy Garoppolo on the hot seat. Oh yeah, that's a hot man on a hot seat. And it's going to make Kyle Shanahan rethink when it's time to pull the trigger and blow Jimmy G's brains out. Start his rookie QB. Kyle Pitts was the phenom prospect, the freakiest player in this draft, the first non-quarterback taken, and I think everyone wants to see how that translates on an NFL field. How will the Falcons use him? What position is he going to play? Can anyone guard him? Obviously, it would have been cool to see the Falcons pair Kyle Pitts with Julio Jones, but if Pitts is as good as advertised, the Falcons won't be thinking about Julio anymore. Coincidentally, their first preseason game is against Julio and the Tennessee Titans, although I'm not sure how much Julio will play. Pitts could have a monster rookie season, something you never expect from tight ends, but Calvin Ridley had 1,300 yards last season, and he missed 2 games. Ridley can be a true number 1 in Atlanta, taking some pressure off Pitts and giving him room to learn and grow while he dominates as a rookie. We got our toes wet with preseason football on Thursday night. One guy I wanted to watch was Cam Newton. After his poor performance last season, after Tom Brady, in comparison, won a Super Bowl with the Bucs, and with his clothes, always with his damn clothes, Cam Newton has become too easy to poke fun at. But I love when Cam is playing great football. I am a Cam fan. He gave my Broncos the greatest gift of all time, a Super Bowl win. I was going to say Cam is a player to watch, but after watching Patriots Washington football team on Thursday night, it's Mack Jones. After losing the 40 pounds requested by the Patriots, Mack Jones was finally allowed to switch from number 50 to number 10. so this photo is no longer up to date. Mack Jones looks like he was born to play quarterback in New England, like he was birthed straight out of Belichick's urethra. He moves in the pocket well, bores you to death with short, efficient passes, then takes calculated deep shots and is accurate with them. His best throw was a deep touchdown that was dropped, and the refs called one of his passes incomplete even though it was a catch. And if Gunnar Olszewski was faster, as fast as, say, Scotty Miller, Jones would have had a monster debut. I think the Patriots will be good again if they start Mack Jones. Their defense felt like what we have grown accustomed to seeing in New England. A big part of that is getting all of those opt-out players back, including Dante Hightower. Kyle Van Noy is back after a weird stay in Miami, and the only reason Cam Newton had any passing yards was because James White and Jonnu Smith turned short passes into big gains. But I was legitimately impressed by the way Mack Jones played. I know it was one game. He looked good though. Now, I wanted to say Ravens rookie receiver Rashad Bateman for this list, but he injured his groin, enough to require surgery, something I only thought Big Dick Nick could do. That injury, though, made me remember Sammy Watkins is currently the starting wideout next to Marquise Brown. Now, he may not play a ton this preseason, but Watkins is a player who could help the Ravens quite a bit in the passing game and was having a pretty good camp based on one tweet I read about him. Watkins is a veteran receiver. He's still young though. He played with another QB who also knows how to extend a play in Patrick Mahomes. And unlike when he was in KC, he might actually be the best receiver on the Ravens roster because Mark Andrews plays tight end.
Make my job a lot easier, and my job is to make his a lot easier. You know, even when we're doing scramble drills and stuff like that, he fighting off defenders, getting open. I missed him in the end zone, little back shoulder. He was right there. I'm mad I missed him. I'm still mad right now. Even though it's practice, practice made perfect. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to make his job a lot easier. But he's, like I say, making my job a lot easier, and I love working with him. I'm glad he's here.
I'm not saying Watkins is going to be like a breakout star heading into his 8th season, but maybe he becomes a security blanket for Lamar Jackson and understands how and when to get open when Lamar is extending the play. Just saying, I think Watkins might be all right for the Ravens. Another thing I want to see, the Bills' rushing attack improve. Now, we have talked about the Bills' lack of defensive pressure, both on the interior and on the edge, as well as them having an average offensive line. Hopefully the D-line is better via the draft, and hopefully Josh Allen's passing threat helps the Bills in the run game, because their biggest weakness, the thing they must get better at, is running the football. They added Matt Breda, a signing I really like to compete with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. I'm watching though to see if any of those backs look explosive, like they can become an additional threat for Josh Allen to rely on. If he has that weapon, that offense could be spectacular again. More spectacular. And I'm not even suggesting that they run the ball more. They just need to be more dynamic when they do run the ball. And finally, a unit I'm interested in is the Cleveland Browns secondary. As a whole, the Browns defense has 9 new starters, including Jadeveon Clowney and Malik Jackson. But I'm interested in the addition of former Rams safety John Johnson, plus the quasi-additions of Greedy Williams and Grant Delpit, who both missed last season with injuries. Now, the Browns defense was 21st in points allowed last season, 11th worst in passing yards allowed, and they were bad against the run. I think, though, this defense could crack the top 10 this year if the secondary gels with the return of those players I mentioned, and if they can just be average at stopping the run. After all, their biggest threats in the AFC are the Chiefs and the Bills. Those are not run-heavy teams, so that's why the secondary is the thing I'm watching. Second to that, though, if the Browns are better at stopping the run, they just might make it to the Super Bowl. Thanks for watching. That's good sports. If that doesn't convince you to subscribe to this dumb channel, a lot of other better things will one day when I get there.